Lantern Valley Studios update video, May 1st, 2023.
Something I realized this morning is the last world that I don't even know if we had like regular meetings of it the whole month, but we at least went over it in like thorough detail, was World 18, which we've done now 4 worlds since. This might be the 5th, meaning that's exactly 1 year. Meaning it's been exactly 1 year where it's basically just been me hiding in a hole, trying to write as fast as I can so we can get novels out. Because we stopped reviewing all these things and like going into massive detail because I was getting huge 30,000 word document piles all over the place of all sorts of stuff we'd come up with and nowhere to put it and nothing to do with it, and it was just a jumbled mess that I just have to go and fix after, which I don't know when we're going to go back and actually go through with that, but probably after I've written a few books. So it would be
then if we start coming up with ideas for something, it'll be like what your system is setting up, right, is the ability to put things in places
when we do that, or when we when anything comes to mind at all. Today I took countless amount of notes. Like my yellow pages, I filled out 3.5 pages of notes just today from ideas that were coming to mind of all sorts of random stuff. Some of them are probably repeats of things that I put in other books randomly, and then the rest of it is just like random things off the top of my head, or like things that would come to mind from conversations with people, or like I walked by there's a down the street from us, or where I work, where he used to work, there's a semi so there's a few blocks away there is a semi truck that is sandwiched into the corner of a building. And I walked by there today and took a bunch of notes about different ways of describing how this would happen and how people would notice it and how they would respond to seeing it and different things like that, but in the context of kind of this open-ended thing where, for example, there's a building that is collapsed by a warp, like a thing that goes into another dimension in the current book that I'm writing, and I needed something like that. It's the perfect spot for it. It was supposed to be on the corner, like the front of these buildings, and that's where the semi-truck is jammed into a building. Apparently there was an old lady taking care of a baby, like her grandchild, on the upstairs floor, and she started panicking and like ran downstairs because obviously it's more than the pops falling off the shelves. But so that type of thing. I got like 10 notes on that, and that filled like 1/4 of a page. Another 10 notes on something else, and like just over and over again, all these things. All of those notes have to go into different spots.
Yeah.
And right now I'm not set up with the worlds and the outlines or anything to actually take all those notes and put them exactly where they're supposed to be. So every once in a while I write like W27, which means World 27, which means the book Rome My Growing Fungal Gusto. So I'm just going to put it into the baking folder. That I checked yesterday, it's 41,000 words, and that's just one of like 18 folders in there, and it's just like scattered crap.
Well, I'm writing a different book, and it's one book, and the book is based off an actual event like a real life scenario that has like a linear events that we already know. This takes place here, this takes place here. And the person I'm working with writes stuff, and then I have to organize it into these different spots. And even that alone is, like, it's already planned out and laid out, but it's still confusing and complicated and gets everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things, so, update video, where we at right now. Where we at, I was planning to finish Act 4 by the end of this month. Of April, rather, so that to start May, then I would get to start Act 5. But I guess something that we didn't mention on the last video, because it happened like a couple days after the last update video, was I got 2 beta readers who want things for May because one's going on a trip with a bunch of like 4-hour layovers and all these planes, and another one is just an avid reader. She currently finished a series, wants to read something else, and she wants to read a bunch of stuff before she moves, which is like in August or something. So like, there's one guy that's traveling by plane, and he's going to be away for most of May.
Leaving tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
So did you Print it?
He wants it in a PDF form, and she wants it printed. So I gave him a text document. I'll have to talk to them both today and tomorrow, because I'll see them today and tomorrow to like finalize how to set it up. Because he's leaving tomorrow. So this month, instead of finishing Act 4, it was reorganize and re-outline all of Act 4 to the end, so that I could have all the scenes where I need to be, and just now I can go through it. And the first half roughly is actually fully drafted, and then the rest of the whole month was revising the chapters 1 through 7 or something that I hadn't looked at since October. So that was kind of cool to just go back and it was the first real revising of the book where I went back and looked at things, and I could look at a sentence and be like, the character wouldn't phrase it or say it this way or think this or something, and just alter the line and be like, now that sounds like them. Like, I'm familiar enough with the story and the characters in it to know what actually does sound proper for the character. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also helped me realize how much stuff to make sure I don't bother writing, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because then I'll just have to go back and fix it or change it or delete it or something. So like just revising is like, okay, there's a lot of extra information here that doesn't have to come up right away. When should it come up? If it's not important until this point in the story that I'm drafting right now, why did I mention it there? Like, sure, it's cool foreshadowing or something, but it's so far away. Like this, what is the point? Overload information for a reader, like chapter 8 or something about different characters. It's like, don't. So, yeah, little things. Learning. Yeah, learning how to write while revising, while outlining. Which, eventually, the point is that with all these worlds that we've been randomizing, I'm revising one, outlining another. We're doing like the, what do you call it?
Spam of ideas
for another, outlining another, and one is
publishing
on the publishing launch plan or whatever, and like all those things happening at once. So I'm getting this is the first time where revising has been added to the flurry of outlining and idea spamming and drafting and stuff. Revising has been added to that pile of things, and now slowly all of the different stages are going to be in motion at once.
And we're choosing another world today.
Yeah, haven't randomized that yet, so we'll find out.
You'll see it in this video.
In moments. Yeah.
Anything else?
I think we're over the halfway. This is the halfway mark of the worlds, because there's 30 total. I think that's 14. I think this is number 16. So we're now kicking over the halfway mark. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Otherwise, these books and stories are freaking cool. You didn't get to read any of them because I've written so much since we last looked at some of these things, like World 9 or something. I drafted it from November to January or something last year, like not last November and January, the one before that, so like a year and a half ago. I wrote it really fast, like 250,000 words, plus another 40 that I deleted, etc. So it's been ages for me to look at it. But it was like a year and a half before then that we went over it in like thorough detail, and like a year before that where we did all the art for it and everything. Yeah. So it's like it is so so much is there, and it's eventually going to go back to it like real soon. Hopefully, as soon as I finish this draft, hopefully in like August-ish, we'll see how things go. But
yeah, it'll be really weird to read it.
Yeah.
To know the characters to whatever degree, and then see what you've done with them now.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
There's also like so many changes, like naming the hero of the story, which was not a thing before, or making things go more towards this pillar reality, which is like, just stuff like that I haven't applied those changes or adjustments to the draft, and then a bunch of empty scenes still, and like as I go through it, it's gonna change a ton. Even for me, you're not even going to see the state it's in because I'm going to have to do so much so that it's in a readable state so you can look at it and be like, I get it. And who knows? There's so much to do. It's really cool though.
Yeah.
So for me, some revising, not as much because the beta readers only have so many layovers on planes and stuff. Organizing this new world, outlining the back worlds that don't have much content so that they are all clean and organized so I don't have to deal with them. then continuing to draft the current novel, and I'm thinking, I don't know if this is going to be the thing yet, but May might be the month where I finally go back and via like all the ARN videos and all the notes that are in all these things, like just slowly pick away at them and put them where they're supposed to be. So like, to get started on that, despite how I'm still trying to draft this book. So that would be the thing.
And the New World, anything with the New World? That would
Mostly just organize it, kind of like World 8, 21, 10.
Get it all on like one sheet or whatever. Or,
just
printable, organized notes.
Which with World 8, I actually went into quite a bit of detail and like outlined most of the plots and stuff and got all the characters sorted, and I did that. I don't think that was necessary, because that's probably something that if we went over it together, it would be way cooler. But at the same time, now that I have that, if I come up with ideas, I can put it in there. But it's not a very thoroughly fleshed out story yet. So if I have ideas, it's kind of abstract and vague if I put it in there. Whereas like those worlds like 18, like 5, 23, so like all these old worlds about magical girls in space and the show houses and things that we actually went over, those have so much stuff that I could actually spend. I could spend a month organizing it. Like I would have to spend a month organizing each one. But when it's there in that state, then me going through Oven of Ideas and
it's actually worth it because there's enough content.
Like it goes where it's supposed to be rather than just loosely where it probably might end up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the ones that are important for that. But I'm going to start chipping away at this, at least transcribing some ARN or something, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Just doing all the stuff and see what happens.
Well, we'll see you next month, and stay tuned for the world we choose in 1 second.
It works first try. We didn't have to re-roll it and skip like. There was an over 50% chance we would have to skip it. Yeah. World 7. That day we kept saving Misha.
Oh yeah.
And Pazuzu. So fairies. Let's see how to synopsis this in the quickest way possible. Is there's a team of superheroes. A bunch of them are rivals with each other. There's a portal that opens up in a city that turns it into a Groundhog Day scenario where it keeps looping on itself. And basically the fairy world, whatever, is messing with people so that they have to figure out how to evolve, we'll say, rapidly and team up and deal with things to end the Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the next Lantern Valley world in production.
So expect this book in a decade.
See you next month.